Bernadetta, why are you following me? You were following me quite conspicuously, so why attempt to hide now?
Please don't hurt me!
Calm yourself. I have no reason to harm you.
Forgive me, I beg you! I'll go straight back to my room and you'll never see me again, I swear!
Bernadetta.
Yes, Lady Edelgard!
Please explain why you were following me and why you tried to hide.
Is Her Highness saying she will not condemn me?
Please, speak like the human that you are. I already said no harm will come to you.
Yes, I'm sorry. Permit me to explain. Lady Edelgard, you are fearless. I look up to you as an example to follow.
And that explains it. How?
I decided to watch you from a distance, to learn from you, but your presence is, intimidating. I got more and more scared until I finally couldn't help but try to hide! Forgive me, I threw myself upon your mercy!
Honestly. Look, nobody is truly fearless. Even I have things that I'm afraid of.
What? You do?
You seem oddly overjoyed at the thought.
No, of course not. But, what in the world could possibly frighten you?
The sea. I find the pitch black of the open sea at night quite frightening. I can't swim, so if the sea were to wash me away, I fear I would never return.
The sea? I think I may have seen it once. Maybe. I didn't know you couldn't swim. That's a surprise.
Again, my shortcomings delight you. Everyone has fears as well as things they can't do. How many times must I tell you?
I really did make you angry! Hey, Adie. Uh-oh, you're scowling again. You're going to get wrinkles all over that cute face of yours if you don't smile more.
Hello, Dorothea. I was just lost in thought. There are so many things to be done. To think of them makes my head ache sometimes. So many nobles of the Empire are utterly useless. When I am Emperor, I intend to appoint only those who can actually be useful. It doesn't matter if they're of noble or common birth.
Noble or common, eh? Can you really do that? I mean, not that I don't agree. I'd make all those nobles vanish if I could.
It's not a question of can or cannot. All that matters is doing it and doing it right. The nobility system has only been around for 1,200 years. The concept didn't exist before that.
Only 1,200 years, huh? You always say such preposterous and extraordinary things, Adie. Yet somehow you actually make it work for you. It's like you're a character from an opera.
A character from an opera? If an opera is made about my life someday, I wonder how I'll be portrayed. The revolutionary who guided the Empire to a new dawn, or the foolish ruler who took her revolution too far?
Well, that all sounds pretty violent. But either way, it would make an incredible opera. Do you figure it'd be a grand action piece full of combat and strife? Or would you prefer a somber political drama? Hail the mighty Edelgard, the red blood stains her story. Heavy as her crown may be, she will lead us all to glory. To a brighter dawn we shall carry on. Hail Edelgard!
That's quite enough, Dorothea. I'm starting to feel more than a little embarrassed. Lovely as your voice is, let's just hope that any operatic productions about me are still a ways off. Petra, you seem to be flourishing in your new environment. Is all going well for you?
Lady Edelgard, everything is well with me. Thank you for your question. Everyone shows great kindness, even while I am still learning about the language.
I'm glad to hear it. After all, a Brigid royal like yourself is of vital importance to the future of the Empire. If you ever need anything, please let me know. It's my job to watch out for you after all.
If that is your want, I will rely on you if I have the need. However, I will not have that need. I can resolve any problems that occur by myself.
I don't doubt it. Perhaps I'm worrying too much. I just don't know what I would say to your family if something were to happen to you.
Do not spend your worry on me. In Brigid, there is a phrase we say. You cannot shoot two birds with one arrow. Brigid and I are that second bird. Your first target is your ambition. Can you disagree?
There is certainly truth in your words. I do have ambitions that transcend all else for me. When I ascend the throne, there are certain things I must do. Tell me, Petra, who do you think I am?
Huh?
I will tell you. I am Edelgard von Hresvelg, and yes, I'm attempting to do what no one else can. I'm prepared to shoot 2 birds, or even 3, with a single arrow. That is the least of the impossible things I will accomplish. If you don't need my patronage, then prove it. Show me your power. Never settle for being the bird. Be the arrow instead.
I will take your words to my heart, and you will be seeing my power. I give you my promise.
Well, this is fascinating. Following this equation...
Linhardt. Here again, I see.
Go away, Hubert. Now is not a good time. Ah, yes. The double line becomes a helix, and its arc... No, that cannot be correct.
Now is exactly the time. Lady Edelgard requests your presence. Come. The lecture is about to start.
Politely inform her that my research is vastly more important than whatever it is she has to say.
While your passion may be admirable, it is sadly misdirected. This matter takes priority. Return to your hobby when your duty is done.
Hobby? But this research will most certainly prove useful in the future.
The Empire requires you to be useful now. I should think you would want the same. You have an almost unparalleled intellect, a singular focus, and unfettered imagination. In truth, you have talents that many, including myself, will never have the privilege of possessing.
Are you complimenting me, Hubert? That alone deserves to be studied.
Let me finish. I haven't an ounce of respect for the cause you have chosen to waste your talents on, which changes frequently, I might add, with no rhyme, reason, or results. Learn to apply yourself to something constructive. You may still have a bright future.
That sounds suspiciously as if you're not going to leave me alone. I just want to live a life doing things that interest me. Is that so wrong?
That is unacceptable, even for a nobleman. Her Highness will soon ascend the throne. She's attempting to deal with such noble privilege head-on.
You have a point, and I understand where you're coming from. But I can't do it. I can't bring myself to work for someone else.
Pathetic. Keep to your books, then. Goodbye, Linhardt.
I'm not finished with you. I am Caspar! What's going on, Hubert? You need something?
I watched you training earlier. Pitiful display.
Excuse me? What's that supposed to mean?
You yell before every move.
I know. I do it on purpose. It's how I get fired up. Is that a problem for you? You scared?
Stupid habit. If you value your life, you'll break it.
What are you talking about? It sounds like you might have a problem with me.
As a matter of fact, I do. If it was only your own idiotic life at stake, I wouldn't bother saying anything. But it's not. Your foolishness hurts everyone.
Ooh, you sure do love to hear yourself talk.
Suppose you were to shout on the battlefield as you did in your training today. It is very likely the enemy could anticipate your next move based on your insipid blather. And what if your allies are startled by your outburst and fumble with their weapons as a result? This is not to mention the obvious fact that you would utterly botch any covert operation.
You really think I'm that stupid? I only shout when it's completely necessary. I don't do it all the time.
Whatever habits you develop in training, you will reproduce on the battlefield. Combat is tense and frantic. You will default to your training whether you mean to or not.
Hey, why don't you just shut up about it? I can control myself.
Being outside is so tiring. Tomorrow's gotta be just an inside day, Bernie. Whoa, why is it so cold all of a sudden? It's as if an unspeakable evil just...
You're late.
No, into the light! Back to the beyond from whence you came!
Are you telling me to die?
Hubert!
In the flesh. I came to ask you something.
Oh no, what did I do? Think, Bernie, think!
There have been sightings of a sinister figure carrying a sharp object, wandering the halls at night. A strange giggle, the glimmer of a needle in the dark, the sound of a door creaking open and closed.
I was embroidering.
I suspected as much. Then you leave me no choice.
What? No, I'm too young to die! I've got so much left to do! Please don't kill me!
About what I expected.
It's no good. I can't run anymore.
That was quite a sprint. A shame you lack stamina. Now to my duty.
You're going to execute me, aren't you? Please, let me compose my last will and testament. Or at least a swan song. The creak of a door. Sorrow like a needle point. Bernie's gone away.
Bernadetta, a word of caution. How would you feel if you fell or bumped into someone while carrying around that needle? Please watch where you're going in the future. How did you manage to faint while standing up? Well, I cannot simply leave her here. Completely unreasonable. How will I see to this?
Hubie, what are you doing here?
A routine matter. No cause for concern.
Ah, so it's something to do with 80 then.
And
She really is all you ever think about, isn't she? Look, I know you're doing all this so that she'll like you, but if you go too far, she'll end up pushing you away. Maybe even hate you.
this has nothing to do with swaying Lady Edelgard's sentiments. I am simply her humble servant. I do what is in her best interest. Whether she cares for me or not is irrelevant.
It really doesn't look that way to me. I bet you'd follow any order Adie gave if you thought it would make her like you. Am I right?
Any order? What a thing to suggest. But the answer is no. I will decline any directive that I deem would not be beneficial to her.
Is that right? So, just for example, if Adi commanded you to find yourself a suitable wife, would you do it?
If it would benefit her in some way for me to marry, then yes, I would marry.
It's easy to say that now, with no bridal party in sight. But if it was the day of the wedding? Nah, I don't believe that.
I don't care what you believe. My only wish is to see Lady Edelgard fulfill her ambitions. All other matters pale in comparison.
Hubie, pale in comparison? You've seen too many operas. I don't think you understand how the world works. At all.
And I don't care what you think either. I would make any sacrifice to support Lady Edelgard. It's a shame you've never experienced such devotion.
You're right. I don't have anyone like that right now. But maybe someday I will.
Then maybe someday you'll understand. Until then, we will never see eye to eye. Now, if you will excuse me, I have much to do.
Hubie, I don't get you. Although I do find your point of view just fascinating.
Petra, industrious as ever, I see.
Hello, Hubert. Yes, I am trying to be industrious. I must be working hard to improve my position. Right now, it is not a good one.
Even accounting for that, your efforts are impressive. I wish a little of you would rub off on certain people here. One troublesome slouch in particular.
Rub? I will not be rubbing on anyone.
Not literally. I never would have imagined you would adjust so well to life in Fodlan. When I first met you, you couldn't understand a single word of the language. You had the look of a cornered animal. So much so, I thought you'd grown up in the wild.
I had more youth then, and the experience was terrifying. My grandfather ordered me to go to Fodlan with suddenness. I was stolen to a strange land filled with strange people. The treatment I was receiving was like I was a strange beast.
It is unfortunate, but while you were called our guest, you were actually a hostage. You were meant to be insurance that Brigid would not restore its alliance with Dagda and attack us. The Empire required leverage, and after all, you are the Princess of Brigid.
It gave me sadness to leave my home, but I am not unhappy that I came to the Empire. I have learned much understanding from the outside world. My experience has made me become who I am, and meeting you and Lady Edelgard has had great value for me.
I admire your spirit in the face of adversity. You set a strong example to follow. And there is much more adversity to come.